Man. Salute. Man, I see some of the new people. Baby girl Wendy, man, I appreciate you stepping through here, man. I apologize, people, man, about running late, man. I had some family business I had to take care of. That was real urgent, man. That was very urgent. I appreciate, man. NSB, Nunzio, Rain, and baby girl Wendy. You told me you was gonna check in on me, man. I hope y'all can tap back in. I hope y'all get the notification, man. But I had some serious family business I had to take care of, and it like ran longer than I expected. It really did. And man, I apologize so wholeheartedly about that. Definitely apologize about being late, but it was kind of family business, and me and the wife had to take care of it because of mom that was out of town. So I apologize about being late because I definitely want to do this one right here. And man, before I get started, man, I want to send it, man. Couple of my young bulls, man, got jammed up, man. I want to tell them keep their head up, man. I definitely got y'all brothers in prayer, man. And these streets is wicked, man. They definitely wicked these days, man. Lipinski, what it do? John Shaft, what it do? Man, I'm about to tell y'all about, man. It's a real serious story how this went, man. I was a crane operator at a galvanizing plant. I worked on a hot kettle, 840 degrees. I galvanized steel. I did that for 18 years. That was my career. I tripped into that career after I caught one of my cases, and I wound up staying there, and I elevated. In that field real nice. So wind up, I was the first owner of the company. I made a nice piece of money with him, and he wound up selling it. So in the process of him selling it, excuse me, some new businessmen out of Oregon bought it. It was 7 businessmen. Only one ever been to the plant. So they hired a new plant manager from Detroit. Oh, he was originally from Pittsburgh, but he was living in Michigan. He come back, he one of those hunter type, country, almost hillbillyish type white guys who had never really spent a substantial amount of time around black people. So, but in the process of that, I'm the foreman at the time. So I'm running the shop, and I'm showing him how to implement his own way into this new section, new thing that he into. And he pretty much, I wound up getting pretty cool with him. And because he didn't know how to talk to brothers, so I kept a lot of brothers off of him. I showed him all the tricks of the trade up in how we did it here, this, that, and the third. And mind you, at this time I was making $26.30 an hour. I was making $26.30 an hour at this particular time. He was one of them guys. His mentality was the guys that was making too much money, and I was the type that, nah, you know what I mean? Should we making $130 every 100 pounds galvanizing this steel? No, we ain't making too much money. Because I averaged at least 1.5 million pounds per month galvanized. That's what I pushed out on my kettle alone on my ship. So like, nah, I ain't making too much money. So I was one of them dudes, man. Everybody there, we had at least 15 workers. All the workers respected me to the utmost. They really didn't look at him in any kind of way. You know what I mean? So it was like, as time went on, I was learning he had a little feelings about a brother being so, how can I say that? A brother gets so much respect, way more than him, and his position in the company was higher than mine. But everybody came to me from the customers. When they called and asked for me. When the truck drivers came, they came and hollered at me. All the workers, they hollered strictly at me. So it's like, man, he was in his feelings about that. But I'm like, man, I'm the foreman. You the plant manager, so your duty should be whatever you want to done this particular day. You bring it to me, and I make sure I implement it and get it done. And that should be a smooth transition, smooth way for a two-headed monster to work. That's my mentality. But in the process, I start seeing little traits about him. Now, mind you, I'm the head kettle man at the time. So when you working on a kettle, when you galvanize the steel, a kettle job is non-stop. You have to work the kettle non-stop, but I'm also the foreman. So he putting pressure on me to also go out back to make sure the guys are rigging up proper, guys are getting the proper jobs done, which is almost impossible. How the fuck I'm gonna leave my kettle to go in the back? Blah, 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 skip the move, bam, right? Then he put a desk right next to his desk. He tell me, well, now the galvanizing plants I was at, the foreman did all this type of paperwork. He implemented all this different paperwork into it. I'm like, all right, so I wound up. The trucks come in. I had to do all the shipping and receiving, logins, everything. He threw so much on me, where it was sabotage. But me being me, I ain't. I bend, but I ain't gonna never fucking break, especially for no, excuse my French, and this ain't no racial shit, but a white boy trying to break me. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it was, and I'm gonna stand firm. So I was doing all kind of unnecessary stuff to make sure I stayed on top of mine. And in the process of this, I was going through a separation with my wife right now. So I'm like, my head ain't even in it. You know what I mean? But I had to stay tall. But during the during this time, I started back hustling, man. So I'm making good money. I'm exactly, Shab. You already know. I'm making good money at my job, but I start back hustling in the streets all night just so I ain't sitting at the crib because I was going crazy about my separation in my marriage. Sitting still, I was going nuts because I was actually trying to get my shit back right there. So I wasn't coming in 100%. So I was tired than I normally would be. And I remember this particular morning, I'm sitting at my desk doing paperwork, and I dozed off. And I literally dozed off. And I never gave these motherfuckers nothing to ever attach to me. And when I woke up, I jumped up like, fuck. When I turned around, he was standing right there in the doorway. And I knew what it was. You know what I mean? He had already started like some BS. He had one worker, Brandon, another white guy. And I was a cool foreman. I was one of them foremen that, bro, you and chest coming, nigga. Tighten your shit up, bro. You know what I mean? Next week, man, they're gonna be pissing everybody. So I kept everybody in the loop. You know what I mean? Doing stuff I ain't have to do, but I made sure everybody was tight. And he used to come to me like, well, you need to be more disciplinary to the work instead of more like their friend. I said, man, put it like this, bro. You got to jail for them to get to do what the fuck you want them to do. I go ask them to do it, they do it. Why the fuck why I gotta get more aggressive with them? They do what I asked them the first time. You might gotta scream and tell a worker to make a worker do what you want. I don't gotta do that. So, and everybody manages different. I'm like, I don't manage. That's how you manage. That's not how I manage. If, you know what I mean? I don't have to scream and yell because as soon as I tell them to do it, they go do it. And they right on it. And I ain't gonna tell them to do something I'm not gonna do. You ain't doing jack shit. So we don't manage the same. So it was a tug of war for a minute, right? And me and him started. It was a lot less conversation in the plant. It was a power trip going on. And this particular day, this is where I said loyalty cuts. You should know how to separate it. I'm a real loyal dude. And mind you, these owners that bought the plant, it was only one of them that ever came to the shop. This particular day, he popped up at a shop, and we was busy. Summertime, we jamming off. I'm out here. I got the shop rocking and rolling. I got like 40,000 pounds that day on the books already, and I'm rocking and rolling. The plant manager's in the office in the AC with his feet kicked up on the desk. The owner brings his woman with him from out of town and pops up, and they walk in. He kicked back with his hands behind his head, feet up in the air in the AC. And Neil's wife was like, how was your plant manager in here kicked back? And it's still wrapped around his joint, and your foremanship like he doing whoop de whoop. And the owner pulled me up to cut this nigga head off. All I had to do was say, that's what he do every day. And I'd have got that position. But me being the type of dude I am and the way I was raised, I ain't doing no telling. And I see this man every day. I only see you once every 2 months. You understand what I'm saying? So even a blind loyalty or loyal to a fault, I covered his ass instead of throwing him to the wolves, even though me and him was having a little issues. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I could have cut his head off right there, and I didn't. My ex-wife was like, man, you might have should have just took your shot. I'm like, man, I don't even feel as though I got to do that to advance because I'm better than this motherfucker anyway. I'm advance him anyway. I ain't got to do no snake shit to pass him because I'm gonna pass him anyway. That's my mentality. But mind you, he's the plant manager, so he's talking to them every day at the end of the day, feed information that he wants them to hear. This where I'm blind loyalty. So mind you, 4th of July come around. Now, right before that, one of the workers come and say, damn, Jack, I thought, man, you was cool, bro. Why you throw me under the bus to Dave like that? I say, what? He said, yeah, Dave told me you said I did X, Y, Z or something. I'm like, whoa. He said, Harry told him Told me he heard you say it. So I go take the young buck over to the dude, Harry. Harry, you told this man that Yak said whoop-de whoop? He dropped his head. He said, nah, Dave told me to say that. I said, what? I said, you went for it, and mind you, this is a dude, he was doing real bad. Me and my wife used to go shopping. I would bring him food for the week. Extra groceries, slip it to him when I first come in Monday morning, so don't nobody even see me do it. They was pimping this dude for $10 an hour. I made sure every time I got a raise, he got a raise. He was up to $18 an hour, but this time I said, you gonna let another motherfucker that do nothing for you carry you on a lie against me? Felt like putting paws on him, but you're real easy going. You motherfucker get you to do anything, so I'm gonna give you a pass. So I'm feeling the energy. That's all right. He's trying to set me up. I'm calling the org and trying to talk to the head dude. He's never picking up. And me and the secretary, Julie, I'm the old Julie, real thick white girl that was the secretary upstairs. They got to thinking, because me and her was real tight. They got to thinking me and her was messing around. So once he hear this nigga hitting the white girl too, lost his mind. You know what I mean? Lost his mind. So he started throwing a lot of shit out there. 4th of July, I had a trip. I made a trip and planned my trip, paid for my trip to go to Chicago. We had got a new job in, boat lift, a whole bunch of baskets of shit. He said, man, we want to impress this company. We're going to work this whole weekend. So I canceled my Chicago trip. Just to work. Just to work to get this new job we got knocked out smooth. Worked the 4th of July, 12 hours. End of the 12-hour shift, he calls me to the office. He said, man, Carlos, I want you to go out there, fire G, fire Prince, fire Carl, and fire Sean. All brothers. I say, whoa. I say, Dave, what the fuck? Why you? Well, it's starting to slow down anyway, but coming up with bullshit excuses. I said, man, so you want me to go do that, right? And man, he's had tug of war because he's had me try to press up on the one brother who rigged up. And he'll let the white boy sit there walking around with apples and fucking ice water. Say, bro, you got to remember, I'm a foreman, but I'm also a fucking black man. You can't forget that, right? So I can't see you sitting there dogging a brother for real and you legitly dogging him, and I'm supposed to be quiet when it comes to the white guy. Don't work like that. You gonna have to do that shit because I ain't doing that, bro. This job a part of me, but this job don't define who the fuck I am. And man, you should have a problem with that because nigga, I worked to get this money. I worked my way up. I ain't kiss no ass. I ain't sell out. I ain't sell my soul. None of the above. I was me at all times. You understand? At all times. And they knew what it was. They knew I was an ex-drug dealer. And at particular times, I kept drugs in that motherfucker because I could do anything I wanted to do at that time. For real. Being 100% honest. So he tell me to go fire all the brothers. I'm like, man, that's a tough one. So I go handle my business. I'll tell all the brothers, man, y'all come in here, man. Y'all know how this motherfucker is, man. He doing salute, bro. Blessings to the chat, happy chat. Man, Nate the Great, appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. So I go let all the guys go. He come down, he calls me to the office. He said, man, Carlos, come upstairs. I need to talk to you. Get upstairs. I said, he said, man, this is the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my life. He started crying. And when I say crying, this grown ass man, tears of joy in this motherfucker. He boo-hooing it. But my wife told me this is probably the best thing to do. I'm like, what the fuck going on with you, bro? He say, I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm in total shock at this moment, right? I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? Mind you, I've never had a write-up. I've never had a dirty yawn. I've never had a verbal warning. I'm the foreman at the job. Now, if you wanna take your title, you can take your foreman, snatch your foreman spot, and I'm just a kettle man. But you fired me, and his excuse. Listen, people. This was his reasoning for firing me. He was bringing another foreman in, and he had to let me go because if I was still there, the guys respect me too much. They wouldn't listen to the new foreman. So I'm like, that's a reason for firing the top worker in this motherfucker? So I'm like, man, he crying, and I'm like, I go downstairs, all the remaining guys, I go to break room. I say, man, y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. I just got fired. Everybody like, shut the fuck up, y'all. Your ass ain't fired. I'm like, yo, I just got fired. Nobody could believe this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it made 0 sense. And the secretary, Julie, she had took a week off that week and went on vacation up to Carolina to see her grandmother. But she sent me a text that morning. She said, "Yeah, when you get off this evening, call me. Make sure you hit me." So she wound up calling me around this time. And she was crying on the phone. She was like, "Yak, I'm so sorry. But I heard what Dave was gonna do. But he told me if I said anything to you, I was fired. So I couldn't even tell you he was setting you up to fire you." So I'm like, man, it was a total setup. You know what I mean? It's like, I could already had this nigga out the door. That's why I say loyal to a fault. Loyalty you can be blind being loyal at times. Because I was loyal to a snake just because of my integrity. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, the Penske man. When I tell you this is some true real life, no cut cards to it, no chase. His excuse was firing me is he's bringing a new foreman in, and if I'm still there, the guys respect me too much to listen to the new foreman. I say, you firing me for that? Mind you, it's still the white boys there with multiple dirty yarns, multiple write-ups, multiple verbal warnings. You understand what I'm saying? But so I'm like, you can't be serious. He's like, man, this is the best thing for the company. We trying to advance and get past how it used to be. We gotta separate from the old ways in this way. I say, so you done had me teach you everything up in this motherfucker. You done had me get all the brothers off your neck from the truck drivers on. That's gonna break you up in here because you ain't know how to talk to black people at the time. You understand what I'm saying? And I reel everything in. So I'm like, all right. It was, I wanted to, like, man, I wanted to flip the fuck out. I really wanted to flip out. I kept my cool. And I'm walking out, couldn't nobody. They like, yeah, you got to be playing. I'm like, bro, telling all the guys that nobody could believe it. As if this was this shit should never have happened, right? And I wound up I went and I actually filed a suit, wrongful firing and shit. You know what I mean? Man, NAACP and shit was ready to get involved in this shit and everything, man. It was crazy, man. Because it was so bogus. And then when they was writing up this whole situation for my case, the way they was making this man look, you'd have thought it was a KKK member they was talking about. And I'm like, whoa, that ain't the image of this man. Because mind you, this man got a wife, kids, got custody of his grand. I'm still being morally stand up when I should have said, fuck this motherfucker, but that's just me being me. You understand what I mean? And, man, and people, my ex-wife, she was so mad at me because I like, man, I can't go in. If they go in there and say exactly what happened in the situation, man, we can run with this shit. But I ain't finna even throw no extra meat on the joint to make him look bursty, because I don't have to do that. Because what he did was straight bogus anyway. So I wound up calling the owners up, because the owners ready to cut his head. They like, whoa. I said, man. So I wound up getting a settlement. I wound up getting a settlement from the company. You know what I mean? And it just because I'm like, man, that's my moral compass. I ain't even finna lie on this motherfucker, even though he lied on me. You understand what I'm saying? To win that case, and they was looking at it like they could just stack shit up like it was. No, I don't feel as though I gotta do that. You know what I mean? That's still being loyal to a motherfucking fault. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the way I was cut. That's the way I was raised. That's the way that's the way I'm built. You know what I mean? For real, I'm wired like that. And I wound up, man. It was a whole crazy situation. And the crazy thing about it, probably 8 to 9 months later, I get the phone call. Who you think they need back up in there? Because the numbers ain't the same since I've been gone. Yeah. It was a roller coaster ride, but man, that taught me a lot about when it comes to business and personal. You make sure that loyalty is separated, man. You know what I mean? Because I see this brother every day. I don't see these cats at all. They come once for a Wednesday, they leave Friday morning every other month just to check in on the numbers and shit. So I don't even talk to you people. I talk to this cat every day, and I know his kids, XYZ. So I was loyal to somebody I shouldn't have been loyal to, but that's just the way I'm cut. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, but they wind up having to tuck their tail and come back and holler at me a minute later. But They did make me take a pay cut. They made me take a pay cut, boy, and I was heated about that one. But I had just caught another drug case in the streets, so I needed to be working at the time. So I took that pay cut to go back, so I could have all my chips in order when I went to court, man. On some real life shit, man. But that was just a true story. Me and my wife actually was talking about it today because right after I got fired, and I told you, this was one of my best of friends before we ever even got together. I went straight to her house when I got fired that day. I wound up showering at her house, and her mom them used to throw her every 4th of July big ass bash with the bands and DJs and shit. So I came over here and relaxed that day. You know what I mean? It was like, man, true story though, man. And that was loyalty, man. It can hurt you at times, man. And that's all it did was I could have cut his head off because if I looked at him like, oh, hillbilly, fuck the white boy, I'd have took his position. But that ain't my mentality. You understand what I'm saying? But he took the mentality of fuck that nigga. For real, for real. And I hope nobody take offense to that, but that's just real life and straight, no cut, no cut to it, no chaser, none of that. That's how he carried it with me, man. But, years down the line, he always wondered, he like, man, he still don't agree with me because I boldly, every time we talk about it, I boldly express to him exactly how he did it because I remember it from point A to point Z exactly how it happened. And he kind of fuzzy on certain parts. Man, I don't give a fuck how fuzzy you is. This how it happened, bro. And he get real quiet because, man, I'm a boldly come at you about it. Don't bring it up if you don't want to hear the truth. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, but I ain't never let him know he was breaking me or nothing, man. But that would cut me deep. Made me get back in the streets. Made me catch a case. And some more shit for that. That was a rough 9 months for me till I went back. And he made me take, and I went back at 20. I had to take a $6 pay cut when I went back, man. I see how much fucking money that is. And you ain't even give me that money, bro. You ain't give me that money when, man, I was already at 23 something when you got here. You know what I'm saying? You gonna take more than you even gave a day, man. But it's cool. But I had to go back. But I went back, not tucking no tail, but I had to take that cut for my own personal reasons because I ain't got myself caught up in some street shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little something, man. That was on my head today, man. My wife was talking about it, man. It came up. I'm like, damn, I got to tell that story. That was some real shit. Sent me on a ride right at that time, too. And I was all this going on. I'm in the middle of a separation going into a divorce. Your boy's about to go nuts out here, man. For real, for real. But, man, still came out on top. I wound up being there. I just left last Christmas. I wound up being there another 8 years after that, So it's cool, man. Wound up in China. I was there total, going on 18 total. So, it's cool. I got a nice little piece of change in my Social Security and shit you did. So, man, but that's my career. And I got a couple companies now still trying to get me to come back to them now, but I'm too freaking old. I'm trying to do my own thing till I croak out this bitch, Man, but appreciate it, everybody, man. For everybody tapping in and listening to it, man. Lipinski, you already know what it is, bro. John Shav, man. Who else have been? Nate the Great, man. Appreciate you checking in with me, broski, man. Appreciate. Rain. It's always gravy. Baby girl, Wendy, please come back and holler at your boy again, man. I appreciate it, Man, but everybody like, subscribe, and share. Yak Chicago's finest. Yak Chicago's finest. They ain't got to like it. They ain't got to respect it, but they will not disrespect it. Holla back, folks. Appreciate it.